So here we have a vegetarian pizza, and it's actually a vegan pizza. Today we're going to make organic pizza, but actually it's vegan pizza. That's the whole point, like that's the most important aspect of today's pizza, is the fact that we're going to be actually using vegan cheese, which is, believe it or not, just as one cutest dog I've ever seen in my life. She was like a little gerbil. I actually have pictures. Casa, sit. And she really is the cutest dog. Like everywhere we go, people are like, oh my god, I love your dog. Because she's sort of like a Walt Disney dog. Aren't you, Casa? Yes, and you're so cute. Oh, so 2 tablespoons of yeast. Would that be 8 grams? Okay, good. So we'll just let that sit there. And then we're going to put, this will be the flour, we're going to put a little bit of salt in, and we're going to use, we won't look at my cupboards too much. We're going to use sea salt, just, you know, it's a little bit better, you don't use as much. So as you can see, I'm not measuring anything. I'm not very good at measuring. Sometimes it also calls for honey or a sweetener, but my experience has been, and I'm sure many people, you know, will agree, you don't really need to use sweetener. I mean, half the time when people, they call for sweetener, you don't need sweetener, or you can cut the sweetener in half. Because, you know, I mean, part of, you know, cooking this way is that you want to minimize, you know, the amount of sugar and other things that you're putting into your diet that aren't working, right? I mean, I try not to eat any sugar at all. I mean, you know, sometimes I cheat because I get a craving, but, you know, generally speaking, my diet's pretty clean, you know? And if you start eating a really clean diet, you do start reaping the benefits, and you become one of these, like, reformed smokers, you know, reformed bad eaters. You know, it's kind of annoying, so I don't want to become like that. Okay, so here's the dough. And this is actually, like, I was looking at different alternative ways of doing this pizza today, and there are a lot of different pizza doughs that you can buy ready to go or frozen that are organic, have natural ingredients, are whole grain, but they're pretty expensive. So, you know, this is a very inexpensive alternative, and it's, you know, as you can tell, it's only taking a few minutes. You know, and you could make some up in advance and just, you know, freeze it and put it in the freezer. Because it's, you know, the doughs that I, you know, the pizza doughs that I were looking at were, you know, $6, $7 for 2, and, you know, I'm sure this cost maybe 75 cents to make, so that's a fairly substantial difference. So we're going to take that, and we're going to put it in a nice dark space. What we'll do is we'll just take a dish towel and put that over there. And so we're going to let that sit for an hour. And what we're going to do while we're waiting for that, obviously if you were in a hurry, you could do that in the morning or the night before and put it aside so you wouldn't have to wait like we're going to have to wait now. Now this is a very basic pizza. It's not rocket science. Okay, we're going to have some tomato sauce. You can make your own tomato sauce or just buy some. That was actually bought, but you can make some. Either way, it doesn't matter. And we're going to use some sun-dried tomatoes, some spinach, red peppers. The important thing is, you know, it's sometimes, you know, even if you're a vegan or, you know, you're, say on a, you know, eating really healthy, you know, it can, if you let it get a little bland, you know, so you're eating a lot of rice, you're eating a lot of beans, you know, or if you're on a diet and you're just trying to lose weight. So you know, you do want to snack, you do want to be able to, you know, enjoy your food. So how can you do it without, you know, it becoming like really fattening or expensive? You know, lots of times I'll have a craving for pizza, but because I have chosen to have a vegan diet, it's not really an option, like to eat all that mozzarella cheese. And I've learned that I can make a vegan pizza that tastes just as good or better than any of the pizzas that you can get, you know, at your regular pizza shop. So we're just going to chop up this food here, and Casa down there keeping us company. Hey, Casa, say hi to the camera. Say hi to Mark. Say hi to the camera. Casa's not a vegan. I decided not to do that to her. She's not a vegetarian or anything like that. Although I would like to, but it's just, that requires a lot of effort. And maybe lightly oil the pan a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. I mean, the whole point is not, and you know, to be honest with you, if you stop cooking with oil, like you can actually cook most things without any oil at all. Like we think that we're always supposed to use olive oil or sesame seed oil. We don't have to. Like lots of times, like you just put like maybe a tiny bit of oil or a bunch of water or tomato sauce. Like if you use your base as a way of cooking like vegetables and stuff, I mean it just cuts down. I mean I just had a an exam from the doctor. I just had a physical and blood work and everything. Like everything's perfect, and the reason that's perfect is because I would say 75% because of the way I eat. So we're now going to put this crust here, and we're just going to knead it out here. And to be honest with you, I've never used this crust recipe before, and it's a cheap crust, and that's, like I'm telling you, those crusts that I was looking at were like $4, $5, $6, so too expensive. So we're going to put this in, and we're going to see if we can cook that up. And we're just going to let it bake in there for about 10, 12 minutes. That looks good. It looks interesting. It's different than what I expected. It actually looks good. It's interesting. It's not what I expected at all. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. Okay, so now we're just going to put on some tomato sauce, which isn't rocket science. So get a sense of this situation here. I guess, you're supposed to put the cheese on top, but I actually put the cheese on the bottom. Now, it would be better probably to get the chunks and shred it. I just happen to have this on hand, so that's why we're using this. But I've used this before and it melts great. I wouldn't do too many close-ups of the stove. Okay, so this may not look like it's melted, but it has. We're just going to take one of these and we're just going to let it go like that a little bit. So now we're going to put on some garlic, which I actually meant to put on before, but it doesn't really matter where you put it. Some onions. That's not, you can use anything. I mean, these are just ingredients that I picked up or I had. And I actually, this particular crust will be interesting to see what it tastes like. It's made with rice flour. And I love sun-dried tomatoes, which I have actually never cooked with before. So this is new for me too. But they look good. Doesn't that look good? Mm. This is amazing, isn't it? Like it's, it looks just like a regular pizza. You would never know that it's not made with any sugar, any salt, very little oil, and no dairy, right? Maybe 10 minutes. And turn it down to, and we'll get a sense of what that's gonna, okay, so here we have a vegetarian pizza, and it's actually a vegan pizza, and it's made with a crust, a brown rice crust, no salt, no sugar, just a tiny bit of oil, and vegan cheese. And I think this looks great. I think it'll be awesome. So we're gonna give it a cut. I'm just gonna take a bite here to get a sense of the crust, because this is the first time we've made this crust. It's really good. So that's it. So that's our vegan pizza, and the next time we'll be making lentil loaf. Good old-fashioned lentil loaf with mushroom gravy. Another must-have. So thank you, and see you next week. Pizza. Okay, pizza. Okay, and how about this? Lamb bones. Do you like lamb bones, Casa?